Kaptırıyor topu. Ali Tanrı doğru çok süratli. Ali orta yapacak. Sert orta. Sert orta.
Welcome everyone back to another Maestro Game production. Welcome to Istanbul, not Constantinople, but Istanbul. And we are here to play the defending champions, Galatasaray. But before we do, we have quite a bit of things to cover. So we've got 3 new staff additions to cover, we've got 3 games of course to recap, and we've even got a tactical tweak. So without further ado, let's head on into Football Manager and crack on with today's episode. Okay, so we start our catch up here against Besiktas, a team which played rather dirty. They injured one of our players 6 minutes into today's game, and well, as you can see, they went and took full advantage of it. A couple of goals there got them 2-0 up. Ragazzu though, with a lovely through ball to Endoy, chips the goalkeeper. 2-1 back in the game. Now this is a game we wasn't expected to get anything from, so 2-1 was looking lovely. Omar crossfield ball played up to Endoy, gets one in. We have a second. Unfortunate for us though, they went and got fed. As you can see, Endoy at the top of the screen was down injured. They went and played on though. Dirty football, whipped it into the back post. Traore smashes it past Manfredini, and they stole the victory in the end. So we probably could have got a draw out of that. Unfortunately though, they went and stole it 3-2. As you can see though, match statistics, they did deserve to win it in the end. 21 shots to our 2, 11 on target to our 2, 1.74 XG to our 0.3, 22 corners to our 1, 9 fouls to our 11, 0 yellow cards to our 1 yellow card, 90% passing each, 50-50 on the possession. And like I said, Yildirim got injured 6 minutes in. They went and took him out, and they went and took Endoy out when they went and scored their 3rd goal. So dirty Besiktas. As you can see, their front line did pretty well. As for us, Endoy, solid game. Again, these two struggling. Musin didn't really have time to do anything because, like I said, 6 minutes in, got injured. He played alright. We've still got problems with our wing backs, but as you can see, I went for a 3-2-2-1-2. That's what we've been rocking for the entire of the duration between last episode and this episode. And you know what? As you'll see, it is actually working quite well. 3-2 against Besiktas, not the worst of results. Now, we didn't get very many shots off, but that is expected away from home against Besiktas, I guess. So, without further ado, let's head on into that second game. Okay, so in our second game, we hosted Fenerbahce at home. And, well, as you can see, it finished 0-0. We didn't really deserve anything from this. As you can see, we had absolutely 0 shots on target. 0 shots overall, in fact. And, well, we just managed to hold out for a draw. It was a solid defensive effort in the end. We had 0 shots, they had 15, 0 on target to their 6. No XG, of course, to their 1.52. 1 corner to 8. 12 fouls to 12 fouls, 0 yellow cards, 0 yellow cards. 89% passing to their 90. 44% possession to their 56. As you can see from the team, though, we had a good defensive display. So Manfredini got a 7.1. We got 7.3 on Obilor. Kubile were 6.7, 6.8 from Sadat, 7 from Omar. The only person, of course, is this right back, Berber, with 6.5 struggling. Musin, I've moved in central midfield, as you can see, 6.7. Emrehan got a 6.7. Sinan with a 6.6. And Ragazzu and Endoy didn't do anything up front, sadly. So, how did we crack on in that 3rd game? Okay, so in our 3rd game, we hosted Cyberpunk, and as you can see, we had a solid job. So, as you can see, we had a lovely through ball there, where Aaron gets onto the end of it. He was playing as a poacher. He then won a penalty. He then allowed Uslu to slot that one away. Now, as you can see, we started with Endoy in that one. Endoy was not having the best of games, playing as a target man. We brought Aaron on, had a little bit of change up front, gave us that little bit of emphasis up front, and well, he got us a goal, got us a penalty, which led to a 2nd goal, and we comfortably won in the end. I would argue we was probably the better team in this match, although statistics-wise, not so much. So, 6 shots to their 12, 5 on target to their 3, 1.65 XG though to 0.7, 3 corners to their 10, 15 fouls to 11, 1 yellow card, 94% passing, that's lovely, to their 87, 51% possession to 49. We are becoming a team that's all about keeping possession of the ball. We just need to start doing something with it, you know. Hold the ball nicely is great and all, they can't do anything with it if you keep possession well. But we need to do something when we have the ball, and we're starting to do that with the likes of Aaron coming on from the bench. We are going to be starting with him in today's game though. We've swapped Ndoye out. We're going to try that poacher role instead of the target man. See if that works out a little bit better. If not, we can bring Ndoye on at half-time or 60th minute, round that sort of spell. But this is what we're going for, this particular formation. In fact, I think it's pretty much this lineup. We'll double check that when we get into the Galatasaray game. But as you can see, solid performance again from Manfredini. Solid performance from Obilor. Musin had a good game. In fact, there's nobody who really had a bad game other than Özkan and Ndoye in that starting lineup. So those two were struggling. We took both of them off though, like I said. Ndoye went off for Aaron, and I believe I brought on, yes, I brought Kurt on for Özkan. And over here, Omar took a bit of a knock. So we took him off, brought on Özlu, which worked out in the end because Özlu, of course, slotted away that penalty. And yeah, the three substitutes worked out. It was nice to see. I'm starting to use the opponent's instructions as well, which is something I probably should have been doing before, but I've been starting to make use of that and it's working out, so we're going to use that going forward, taking our assistant's advice once in a while. And yeah, so without further ado, let's move on. Let's get a look at those new staff members and then crack on with today's game. Okay, we're only going to have a quick look at the staff members, only particularly because one of them rings a bell with me personally. So, as you can see, we have a lovely coaching lineup. We are very good at defense, very good at fitness, very good at technicals, and very good at tactical. We are pretty good at everything else as well. And that is mainly down to the fact that my mental I've managed to push right up and attacking I push right up with a new addition. And that is Neil Thompson. Now, I recognise Neil Thompson, as you'll see from down here. Scarborough and Scarborough, who is a player and a manager at Scarborough. So I recognise him there. I also kind of recognise him from Hull, but more on the whole Scarborough angle. So yes, he is a solid addition to our coaching team. An amazing individual personally. Now, doesn't really play our type of football, but he's a coach. Doesn't matter. He's great at attacking, great at defence, great at mentals. Solid, doesn't have any fitness unfortunately, but we don't need him for fitness training. We've got plenty of people for fitness training. Comes in at £1.50 per week till 2025. Solid addition to our coaching staff. Currently on a Continental Pro licence. Doesn't really have the reputation, needs to learn Turkish, but we're teaching him Turkish. So that is all good. Joining him coming in now, can I remember who it is? I know Chris McGowan is joining us because I remember we needed a head of youth recruitment. So I brought him in. He's coming in. He's 14 player of judgment, 14 potential, and 14 working with youngsters. Previously at Watford. So a nice addition to our team. Was their youth coach, was an under-18 coach, became their head of youth development, and now he's our head of youth development. Didn't have to pay for him as well, so that's nice to see. John Ward, are you the new addition? We do have 4 English people, so you could be the new addition. I don't think you are though. So it probably would have been a good idea to remember who my third person was. It's probably someone with a contract expiring at the same time. It's not Dodds, is it? Aguzu. Yes, it is, because he's the personal analyst. I remember now. Performance analyst. We hired a performance analyst, and he's 13. Not sure how he lines up relative to other ones. We have 2 more performance analysts. So let's have a little look. See if he's better than our other ones. Well, he's 14 and 12, so he's not as good at analytical elements, but better at the tactical element than him. He then has to compare to this guy who's 11 and 10. So it's all round better than Sakem, but he's basically on par with Ali Madden. But without further ado, let's go play Galatasaray. This is a big game. Now, in the previous games, I was on positive. We are now on balanced. I believe I might have played cautious. I lie. I played cautious against Fenerbahce. I played positive against Sivasspor and Besiktas. I want to say I was cautious in that game as well, just because they're a really big team. So, I found cautious put too much pressure on us. I'm trying balance to give us an opportunity to try and at least push them back a little bit. We are away from home, of course, so it's going to be a bit of a struggle. But this is the lineup. So we have Manfredini in goal, a back line of Sedat, Kuble and Obilor. On the left-hand side is Omar. We have Aguzan otherwise known as, his name escapes me, Berber. Of course, it's Berber. Berber on the right-hand side. In central midfield is Musin and Emrehan. In front of them is Mehmet Özkan. And up front we have Rigatsu and Eren. Now, of course, Rigatsu is going to be leaving us, but if we can get this poacher role going well for Eren, it'd be nice to get a nice deep line forward to support him, i.e. the guy who's coming in, and then hopefully we can get someone in on loan who can sort of rotate in, have a solid free striker system that can rotate around when one of them's not playing so good, and hopefully that will work out. But enough hopefullys from me. This is the lineup. You can see who's on our bench. I'm not going to go through our bench because we'll be here all day. Our Cock misses out, Volkan misses out, and Diarra is currently missing out also, but Diarra is probably not going to be around for too much longer. Cock, he's going to work his way into the team, but he's going to have to wait, and same with Erdogan, otherwise known as Volkan. But without further ado, let's crack on, get into this game, and I'll see you fine folks for the team sheet in just a second. Okay, so as you can see, we are back a little bit earlier. We're, of course, in the tactical meeting instead of in the team sheet screen. I apologise for the banging outside. It's a neighbour. I think he's panel beating. It's really irritating, but we'll have to try and bear with that. I'm obviously getting really irritated by it, but we're on this screen because we are here to have a look at the opposition instructions. I'm not going to read through them. I'm going to trust our assistant, trust he's got it right, tell him to do it. We're going to add that to our instructions. Now, they're saying balanced over cautious. Interesting. Go from balanced to cautious. We've tried that against other big teams. Didn't work out great. You know what? We'll trust you. I will trust our assistant. We'll trust our assistant. We've tried it. Hopefully, because we've played like this a little bit more, cautious approach works out. But if it doesn't, I'm not going to be happy with our assistant. So, as you can see, the briefing has gone quite well. So, Yildirim is nodding in agreement. We've got Kurt nodding in agreement. 13 players lacking tactical familiarity. That's a bit of a disappointment. But Gullier in for Endoy, and these are our opposition instructions. So, let's warm up. Have a little look at their team sheet. There is nobody really on there coming out at me, except there is one player missing from Galatasaray, and that is a big international, and he isn't even registered. As you'll see from this screen, they have Ryan Babel. They've not even bothered to register the man. Ryan Babel. They have, in fact, transfer listed him. Now, 30 grand, that is a bag, and I would snap up Ryan Babel. Although he's on 65 grand a week, so probably not. But, and his aggression isn't quite there. But still, if we could get Ryan Babel in, I would love to have Ryan Babel. Unfortunately, they are going to just shove him to the back of the queue and not register him, and that's just not very nice of them. So, we're the underdogs. That suits us down to the ground. Exactly. Punch fist, underdogs. Let's go out there and cause an upset. So, do you have an opinion of Fatty's performance? Preferred possession game. I'm a big fan of the way he plays. You sound like you're worried. I'm not hiding the fact it'll be a tough match. How about you approaching the task of breaching the best defense? Well, that's why we have two strikers, of course. We have to find and exploit their weaknesses. Exactly. Don't know what they are, but we'll have to find them and exploit them. Of course, I'm going for the Flying V. They're in a good run of form. We've lost one draw, and probably going to win today's game. For us, though, 3 losses, a draw, and a win. We are on a solid couple of games. Unfortunately, though, the games prior to that, not so solid. We are, though, coming up to the back end of the season. We are into the final 8 games. Some teams' final 7 games. So, as you'll see, we're in touching distance of the relegation zone. We do need to keep an eye on it, but we are quite comfortably away from it. As you'll see, we're on 38. That could drop to 37 if we assume we're going to lose today. 37 points, that would give us an 11-point gap on the relegation zone. That means if they win 4, they can overtake us. But it also means all of these teams need to do the same. So, that is something to keep an eye on, especially considering we do play Ankara. We play Adana, I believe, in our next game. Ankara's in our next episode. We do have to play Fatty once more. I believe Goz is in one of our games, and Kayaspor is our last game of the season. So we do play a lot of these teams from now till the end of the season. So we definitely need to pick up the results when we play them. Right now, though, we are holding on to a draw here against Galatasaray, and that would be beautiful. We can steal a draw here today. I would be happy. Anything other than a loss would be a win in my book. So, we've had a boring first half, but a boring first half is very good for us as the underdogs. They've had 7 shots, we've had 0. 3 on target to our 0. 0.51 XG to our, well, none. 1 corner to our 1 corner. 8 fouls to our 9. 1 yellow card, 1 yellow card. 91% passing each. That's lovely to see. 54% possession to our 46. So we've had a decent amount of possession. They've, of course, had more. And a little bit of bad news. He's going to have a suspension, I believe, on that yellow card. But we will take a suspension if it means we get a point out of this game. So, I'm pleased with how things are going. Keep it up, lads. You know what? They're not playing the best. But you know what? We need to boost their morale. Keep it up. You are getting a draw here, lads. Away to Galatasaray. Think about that. They're second in the league. They are the champions from last year. And we have come here and we are getting a draw. So let's do this. Right, 62 minutes in. How can we burn clock? Just as important as who can we take off. How can we burn clock with these subs? We have Berber, who's on 6.3. He is struggling. He really needs to be taken off, but unfortunately, we don't have anyone who can cover this. As you can see, nobody likes playing in that spot. So, that, if we stick with this formation, is something we definitely need to look at covering. We then have our central defense. Now, our central defense, a bit wobbly, but they're holding out. We have Gullier, who's not having the greatest of games. So you know what, Gullier, you can come off. We'll take you off for Endoy. We'll put Endoy on target man, and hopefully he can open up the defense with his play. Now, we want you on attacking. I don't know why I put you on support. Sinan can come on for Mehmet because he's on a yellow card. We then have Recap, who can slide in here in deep line playmaker. So, triple substitution. I should have maybe even just split them up, you know, doing 1 by 1. Slowly burn the clock out as our players eke onto the pitch. Yildirim, though, on a yellow card, so I guess we sub him, yeah. We get another player onto the pitch who can swap over to this side, though. Sinan, I think, can play at deep line playmaker, so we can do that and just swap him out like that. And now we've got one more substitute in case we pick up an injury. We are 20 minutes from managing to steal a result here at Galatasaray. And weirdly, we've not had a single highlight. 8 minutes. 7 minutes. We have a highlight, ladies and gents. It's a Route 1 pass. Unfortunately intercepted. Please tell me they're not going to steal it. 7 minutes from time. Linz on the counter-attack. Going down this left-hand side. Serdar, can he get a tackle in? No. Sinan, come on Sinan. Just snap his legs if you need to. Get that ball away. Linz, Sinan, please get a tackle in. You're irritating me now. Sinan, stick a leg in. Omar, get across. No, he's got past his man. Luckily, the shot has gone wide. That was a scary moment. We managed to dodge a bullet in that one. And it is sneaking up into additional time. We've managed to get away with 1 highlight. Oh, 2 highlights. They have a free kick. Falcao will take the free kick. Can we get this one away? Is that the Falcao? I hope that's not the Falcao, because that was scary. My heart just skipped to beat. But we've managed to steal a draw. I apologise, that was probably the most boring game ever, considering we only got a couple of highlights right near the end of it. But in the grand scheme of things, we've just got a draw away from Galatasaray. This formation is doing wonders right now. 21 shots to our 2. It doesn't matter. They're having shots, but they're not using them. 4 on target to our 1. 1.62 XG to 0.06. That's disgustingly beautiful. 4 corners to our 3. 15 fouls to our 19. 1 yellow card to 3. 91% passing to our 89. 58% possession to our 42. We had 3 yellow cards. We don't care. As you can see, strikers didn't do great. Serdar did good. Recap did alright. Sinan didn't have the greatest games. Right back, of course, terrible game. Omar, our defensive line was solid, and Manfredini was solid too. Yildirim had a good game, unfortunately took him off because of his yellow card. Adegam could have played better. Oscan again could have played better, and same with Gullier. So the best performer was our goalkeeper Manfredini. Good job from Manfredini. In fact, he's chasing Atabek's clean sheet record. This one should put him on 12 clean sheets, I believe. And Atabek, I want to say, is on 12. I'm pretty sure he's matched it. If not, he's like one behind. So, everyone thought, yeah, great result. It wasn't the best performance, but it was an amazing result. So how do you think the two teams fare against each other from a tactical perspective? Well, we both like to hold possession well. They like to attack with it. We like to just hold it. But yeah, I think we neutralised each other. I thought it was a fascinating match, and everyone watching will have plenty to say about it too. Indeed. Spiffing good old chaps. So, as you can see, 26 points. We now have a 12-point gap and a 10-goal difference. That is the more important thing, the 10-goal difference. Because if they do manage to win those games and fall level on points, we have the goal difference. So they're really going to be out to score a bunch of goals against us in this next game. As you can see, we've received 123k for that. I'm going to go through these messages in just a second. No point in sitting here. Another clean sheet. Sees him 284 minutes since he's conceded. That is nice to see. We'll talk to the media about that between episodes. There's no point in you going through that boring interview. As you can see, in fact, our wage budget. Don't ask me how that happened. It's just shot up. It's just randomly realised we have more wages for next season, and it's now on 10 grand. So that is it for today's episode. Pretty boring, but very good in terms of the result. Now, I'm going to play Adana, I'm going to play Göztepe, and then we are going to come back against Ankara, who is 17th. It's going to be them or Adana, who is battling out at the moment to go down. So if we can pick up results against Adana and Göztepe, we can probably push ourselves out of that scrap and go into the Ankara one, basically determining which of those two go down. So without further ado, I'm going to crack on with those games. I hope to see you fine folks in the next episode. I hope you all have a lovely night, and goodbye.